Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today's Monday, April 10th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's gonna open in about 9 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we will get started shortly with our analysis for today. So we're coming back from a long weekend, guys. Remember, when you come back from a long weekend, market tends to move a little iffy. Also, today's still a holiday for pretty much all of Europe. So I don't know how the volatility will be, but we'll see as market opens shortly. So it's got a couple of things here to update. And we should be good to go. All right, perfect. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, perfect. All right, guys, link is sent out. You get a few moments for people to make their way in. And then we'll get started shortly. All right, perfect. Looks like we're good to go, guys. All right, so I'll get a few moments for people to continue joining. Other than that, let me just post this link up to our social media. And we should be good to go. All right, perfect. All right, looks good, guys. Market isn't open in about 7 minutes. So good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today's Monday, April 10th. Hopefully everyone had a great long weekend. Coming back from the long weekend, guys, typically the market moves kind of iffy. As you guys have been looking at US30 from this morning, it's been moving pretty sideways since 5 o'clock, as you guys can see over here. Also, just an FYI, today's a holiday for basically all European countries. So it's still technically a long weekend for them. So I don't know how the market will move with regard to that being the case, but we'll see when the market opens shortly. The market's been moving a little bit. It's been moving slightly. There's one entry that came up pre-market. I don't know if you guys saw it. Came up right here. There was a lower low. Bullish momentum signal right there, broken close past the pivots 1 and 2. That would have been an entry for a buy. If anyone was taking that, that would have played out perfectly. So I didn't take the trade, but that's one trade that came up pre-market. That's the only trade that came up. So there's one trade that came up pre-market. I was going to take it, but I figured I should just wait a little bit because of the way that the market was moving. So it's all good. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else here for me to look at. Looks like a lot of people are still joining in. That should be good. I'll just post this link up to our social media real quick. All right, looks like we are good to go. So, all right, guys, see who's here so far. So let's check the chat so far, see who's here. Let's see. Morning, David. Morning, Christian. Morning, Funny. Morning, David. Morning, D. Morning, Van Harwig. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Maria. Morning, Martha. Morning, Nick. Morning, Karen. Morning, Essa. Morning, everybody. All right, guys, so market is opening in about 5 minutes. As I mentioned, guys, we're coming back from a long weekend. It's also Monday. If you guys are not familiar, Mondays and Fridays are typically the more riskier days to trade because people are either leaving the market from the weekend or coming back from the weekend. Also, we are coming back from a long weekend. So typically, the market has to get back into flow. before it starts to move smoothly. So looking over here on the calendar, let me see what news events we have for today. We have one news event over here at 7 o'clock, final wholesale inventory. So just something to keep an eye out for. And there's some more news as well on my FX book. So we got one news event right here at 7. That is final wholesale inventories over here on my FX book. We have news at 8 o'clock. Consumer inflation expectations for March, 8 o'clock, and then 3-month, 6-month bill auction at 8:30. So we got news at 8 and 8:30 as well, which is fine because we're probably not going to trade after 8. So it's not really going to be a big deal for us, but something to keep in mind just in case. So we got the news events set up right there. We got the market opening up in about 4 minutes. As you guys can see over here, nothing's really going on. Price is kind of just consolidating right here where it's currently at. We'll see if the market picks up at 6:30. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, it's fine. We're just going to take it as is, and we'll roll with it to see if there's anything for us to take. Hey, Patricia, morning. Morning, T. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes till market open. We have a pending sell signal right here. There's a lower high, so there's no entry for us. SB after a higher high. But yeah, other than that, there's some news over here. S&P futures decline to start the week as investors' recession fears grow. Live updates. So as you guys can see over here, S&P mirrors US30. So if S&P over here started to decline, looks like price will likely go up as well with, or it'll go down initially and then probably go back up at some point later, depending when this news event was. So this was released at 6:04. So it's been a while, but it's just news saying that, the market's going to drop. Same over here with the 10-year treasury. It says 10-year treasury yield is little change as traders await key inflation data this week. Also, some news from Russia. It says Ukraine war live updates. Russia is set to bolster its air defenses near Finland in response to NATO accession. US is investigating an intelligence leak. So some things over here going on behind the scenes. Over here, US scrambles to trace source of highly classified intel leak. That's what I just talked about right now. So, all right, we'll see, how this affects the market. You can see price over spiked down pretty hard for US30. As you can see, the market is moving kind of weird, which we expected for reentry from a long holiday weekend. Hey, Richard, how's it going? Morning. All right, guys, market is opening in about 2 minutes. So as you guys can see, the market is moving a little crazy. So wait until market opens and stabilizes a bit, and then maybe look for some entries. I wouldn't enter right away because as you guys can see, this huge spike over here was pretty large. It pretty much covered the entire range for the past 2 hours. So this one candle right here spiked down about, not a big push, but with regard to how price has been moving over here, that's pretty much the entire range. So if you look over here, price is pretty much just ranging about 450 pips for the past 2 hours. This little candle over here pretty much covered the entire range. So just be careful when looking for any entries here, guys. Just make sure that you actually fully analyze everything. Let's take a look at US30 or YM across the board. So looking over here, it looks like on the higher time frames, price is on the 4 hour, it's still bullish. Price is above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. Over here on the 1 hour, price was bullish, but it just shifted down the past 2 hours. Same with the 30-minute. So it looks pretty bullish all around with regard to, or sorry, not all around. Looks pretty bearish all around, except for the 4 hour time frame. But let's see if price starts to correct back up, which it looks like it's doing right here. Huge green candle over here. This could be a possible entry, but it's not one that I would take because market is opening in about 1 minute. So we have a lower low right here. We have a pending buy signal on this candle right here. So if this closes with a buy signal, it's technically an entry, but I'm not going to be taking it because market is opening right now in about 1 minute. So market is now open, guys. This is the entry that I was just referring to. Not one I would personally take, but it is an entry. Looks like it's going to hit TP, but I'm not in it. So it's all good. So market is now open. Not sure why my opening bell didn't go off. Well, it's all good because my my thinkorswim was logged off, which is all good. So yeah, if you guys took the trade right there, it looks like it hit TP. It's all good. I didn't take it, so it's not going to count. But if you guys did see that entry there, I did mark it up. I mentioned there was a lower low. However, there was a buy signal and a sell signal in between, so it wouldn't count as an entry. I just realized there was a sell signal right here. So, all right, guys, market is now open. Let me go ahead and mark up opening price. which is right there. You guys can see how crazy the market's moving right now. You want to be very careful about taking any entries because you want to get caught in any of these whipsaw movements. All right, guys, market is open. We'll see where this takes us, but at the moment, we just got to be a little patient and wait for some sort of direction here. So looking over here, everything's pretty much bearish. So 1 minute's neutral. It's right in between the pivots. 5 minute here is bearish. 10 minutes bearish. 30 minutes bearish. 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour is bullish. So total opposite spectrums here. 4 hours very bullish. Everything else here is pretty much bearish for the most part. So we'll see where this ends up taking us. But there's no entries for us right now. This right here is not going to be an entry because the candle already broke and closed below the pivots. So we have a higher high here, but price broke and closed below it already. So no entry for us there. Let's see. Kenny sent us a link over here. Let me see what Kenny sent me. Is this today? All right. So this isn't really anything serious, but Biden is having his, our typical egg roll. So right now it says soon Biden hosts 2023 White House egg roll. So this isn't anything really pertaining to us here, but it's, it's an event going on. Biden's probably going to say something crazy here. So that might affect the market, but yeah, I don't know. Thanks, Kenny, for the link. But yeah, just an FYI that's going on right now. Yeah, nothing to do with the economics, but Biden might say something kind of outlandish at the event. C6 said, yeah, it'll definitely affect the market. Now we'll see. D said, I only like my egg rolls crispy, deep fried. Same D, same. All right, so no entries for us here yet, guys. We just got to follow market and see what comes to us. You want to be very careful about taking the entries today. Make sure you're actually analyzing it and waiting for the confirmations to suffice, because as you guys can see here on open, market just kind of moved all over pretty crazy. Let me go over here to the clean chart. You guys can see it a lot better here, how crazy this movement is. So opening price was right there. So opening candle right there. 8 o'clock right there. So as you guys can see, I mean, realistically, market hasn't really been doing too much here. As you guys can see, price has kind of dropped down right here. I guess if you really wanted to identify this as like a support, you could. It's not really. If you want to pull it back a little further too. If you wanted to identify this whole area as a support, you could. Right? You can see how price is kind of bouncing around this area, but you can see how messy the market is. So this bounce might happen right here. It's like a triple bottom right there, and right there. So bounce up might happen right here. This is the clean chart. There's pretty much no indicators on here. Just marked up certain things that I saw. But I mean, who knows? I just wanted to show you guys how crazy the market was moving right here. Pretty much sideways moving all day. Came back to this support, basically bouncing off it. And we'll see if it shoots back up. We have a lower low right here. So if we get a buy signal that breaks and closes past this, these pivots 1 and 2 right here, and we have a possible entry for a buy. So just keep that in mind. There was no buy signal that closed. There's no entry there. Still have about a minute left. Hey, CJ, how's it going? Morning. No, you haven't missed anything, CJ. There was an entry pre-market here that I marked up. This one over here. We didn't take the trade. There's also an entry that looked like it came up over here, but there was a sell signal in between, so there's no entry there either. We have one here that's currently pending. We have a lower low. We have a buy signal that breaks and closes past the pivots over here. There's going to be a possible entry for a buy, but we just don't have that yet. So no, you haven't missed on anything yet. But as I mentioned before, guys, we're coming back from a long weekend. It's also Monday, so I want to be very careful about taking the entries here because anything can happen, really. And you guys can see here, it's pretty pretty choppy. So as you can see, prices are rejecting off that same area again right there that I marked up. So this is kind of established like the support. So we'll see if it bounces up. If we get that buy signal, possible entry, but we don't have that buy signal yet. I have my alert set up, so it should probably alert me when it does come up. Pending buy signal right there. So you guys got to wait for it to close above the blue pivot over here. So we got 30 seconds left on this candle. As mentioned, you guys got to wait and be patient for it to actually close, because that buy signal can easily disappear at the last second. So it hasn't pushed up yet. You got 20 seconds left on the candle. Does not look like it's going to close. We got about 10 seconds left here. Yeah, no candle there. No buy signal. All right, so I don't really like how the market's moving right here. As you guys can see, price is pretty much going sideways down here. This isn't like the kind of setup that we're looking for. Typically, when we're looking to enter these trades, we're looking for the lower low, and we're looking for the buy signal to come up right after. So with the, best case scenario, the buy signal would have came up right here, and we would have rode this back up. But now that price is pretty much going sideways, it's not necessarily looking like there's any direction here. So this is going to be a bit risky, because if you do get a buy signal here, it can easily just come right back down because it's been consolidating for so long. So yeah, I'm going to be a little more patient here, looking for any possible entry. If there's a buy signal here, I don't know if I'll take it, guys. I'll let you guys know, but this is just from my experience looking behind. If the market starts to consolidate like this, the only thing that I'm kind of convinced about is that this has established the support. So if we do get a buy signal here, it looks like it may push up at least to opening price. So that's kind of why I'm okay with taking the entry, but I'm also kind of iffy because price is going sideways. The only difference here is that price is going sideways, in the direction of bouncing off support here. So there might be a possible entry here off this candle, guys. You got to wait for the candle to close. Price is it's pretty much pushed out of the range right there. We still have 40 seconds left. So just keep in mind that you guys have to wait for this candle to actually close, right? As I mentioned earlier, this would be a maybe okay entry because it can push back up to opening price right there. So that's the only reason why I'd be kind of okay taking this entry. However, if we don't get it here on this specific candle, then I'm definitely not going to be taking any more other possible entries that come up, because at that point, it's tried too difficult. It's made about like 4 or 5 attempts here, and it hasn't been able to close above this area. So we got about 10 seconds left on this candle, guys. Just make sure you look out for it. If this candle here closes, if it closes too big, I might wait for it to retrace a little bit, but if not, I might get in right away. So see if this closes here. Does not look like it's going to close. No buy signal, guys. So unfortunately, no entry there. This candle already broke and closed past the pivot, so this pretty much invalidates this entry. If you look over here at the requirements, identify a lower low. We have the lower low there. Identify a valid momentum signal. The momentum signal never closed. However, confirm breaking close past the pivots 1 and 2, which happened right here. So this pretty much invalidates the entire entry. There's no more entry here for a buy. The next buy signal is just going to close, and then from there, we're going to have to wait for it to provide another entry for us. So unfortunately, no entry here. This would have been a good entry if it did close, but unfortunately it didn't. So there's no entry for us there, guys. So, all right, now we got to wait for it to come back down. Glenn's asking, would you take it if we get a buy signal? Well, yeah, if we had the buy signal prior, then I would have taken it, but it didn't close, so no entry there, Glenn. We're just waiting for the setup to reappear. We're now looking for a sell setup. And the reason we're looking for sell setups is because we have a bullish momentum here already. So this right here would technically be a pivot scalp entry if anyone's looking to take that entry there. Obviously, I'm not looking to take it. I'm only following this strategy here, but this would be a pivot scalp. Price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, pivots are angling up. This would be entry for a pivot scalp. Not in the position. Just wanted to show you guys, there's a lot of different entries that you guys can take, but I'm only looking for this one right here. Just one strategy. So I'm looking for a higher high to come up. So right here, you can see we have a lower high. This is not going to suffice. We need another higher high, something like this. Higher high with the sell signal, breaking, closing past the pivots 1 and 2. So, all right, guys, just gotta wait for this here to provide another setup, but at the moment, there's nothing for us to take. So price bounced directly, and you can see right here my market, it played out perfectly, right? So I mentioned there's a support here. Price was bouncing off it, triple bottom. And I said if price pushes up, it's going to push up to opening price, which is right there, right? So my markup here played out perfectly. As you guys can see, the same pattern just reappeared. So, you know, I've seen these patterns come up before. So that's why I kind of anticipated this to play out. So you can see right here, it played out exactly how we marked it up. All right. Kenny said it found out trying to take a breakout this morning, didn't let me. Yeah, Kenny, I think your account just expired. I don't think so Kenny messaged me this morning. He said that FTMO gave him a free retrial on a demo account. I don't think that's possible because you could just start a new demo account. So Kenny said he tried it out, taking the breakout didn't work. So I think they just can't, like, that account just got terminated, Kenny. So you just have to go and make another one. So just an FYI, I've never seen that happen before where they give a free retry on a demo because it just wouldn't make sense. You would just start another demo. So yeah, Kenny, I think you just have to sign up for another trial account because it just wouldn't make sense for them to give you a free retry on a trial account when you can just get one yourself. All right, so let's see if there's anything else here for me to look at. Nothing here. Okay, so we have a new higher high. So price bounces down from this area, possible entry for us here. So we might get a fake out or a rejection off the sessions right here, and then price might be making its way back down. If that's the case, then fine. So we'll we'll see where this ends up taking us. We do have the higher high right here. So now that we have a higher high, we're looking for a sell signal next. Looking back at the steps over here, first identify higher high, identify lower low. We have the higher high right here, but next we need a momentum signal. So next signal is going to be a sell signal that will follow. Glenn's asking what happened to his account. I mean, nothing. If you've done a trial account before, the trial account expires. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to do anything. The account just expires at the end of the time. So I don't think he did anything specific. I think he was confused with the email. The email probably told him that, okay, you can start a new trial, but I think he thought that he got a free reset, which it wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't reset a trial account because you can just sign up for another trial account. I think there's just miscommunication between Kenny and whatever email he received. All right, some profits over here from Manelli. Looks like you took that buy. Total profit of 1,470 for the day. Nice work, Manelli. Looks like he rode this up to opening price right here on the 640. Yeah, solid work right there, Nelly. I saw your timestamp there for your entry. 639, 640. That's why I marked it up right here. Pretty much took that buy and then rode it to the upside to the opening price. All right, solid work there, Madhu. All right, we still have the higher high right here, so I'm looking for price to come back down eventually. Looks like it might be coming down right here. If not, it's fine. I'll just keep pushing up a new higher high. So there's another higher high right there. So eventually it's going to have to come back down at some point. Let me go and refresh CNBC. So looking over here at CNBC, guys, looks like the Dow is currently down 52 points. S&P is down 24 points and NASDAQ's down 135 points. Russell 2K is down 5 points and the VIX is currently up 7%. So yeah, with that said, it just looks like there's nothing really going on at the moment. I mean, everything's pretty much, well, the Dow and S&P are pretty much neutral because it's not down 100 points. It's only down 52 points. NASDAQ's very bearish. Russell 2K is pretty much neutral. VIX is pretty much up. So with that said, not really too much for us to base our entries off here yet. Another thing we can look at would be retail sentiment. So looking over here at my FX book. So retail sentiment is currently 61% short. So with that said, looks like market might be bullish this week. Obviously with the retail on the sell side. So here we go. Here we go with another higher high. Still no entry for us here. Price is still pushing up. Another higher high, get pushed up higher. Just looking for it to, obviously come back down. So here we go. As price starts to come back down, we have the higher high right here. Price is starting to drop a little bit. Looks like if it continues to drop lower, it can set up with a sell signal. If it closes below the pivots over here, possible entry for a sell. We don't have that yet, but that's what we're going to be looking for. Maddie's head's rejecting off the pivots on the 5 and 10 minute time frame. So looking over here on the so we have a nice rejection right here on the 5 and 10, as you guys can see. These pivots act as revolving structures, right? Because it pretty much moves the price. So it continues to move along. It acts as pretty much structure that moves with price. So as you guys can see here, nice rejection off the 5, nice rejection off the 10. We'll see if price comes back down further. We don't have that sell signal yet, so it's not really a big deal yet, but we need that sell signal in order for us to take any type of entry here. We have another rejection here off the 30 as well, Maddie, if you saw that there. This one has 12 minutes left on it, so it's still got a lot of time. And then we have an opposite rejection here on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, we have a rejection on the bottom, 30-minute rejection off the top, 10-minute rejection off the top, 5-minute somewhat rejection off the top. Hasn't closed yet, but there's a bit of a conflict here with regard to the higher time frames and lower time frames. Lower time frames are rejecting off the top. Hasn't closed yet though. So the 5 still hasn't closed, or the 10. Both of these candles have about 2 minutes left on them. So we'll see if these both reject off it. However, the higher time frames over here are still bouncing. So, we might have a correction back to the upside. That kind of looks like what's happening here, because the 4 hour here is pretty bullish. So it looks like price might just continue to push up higher and higher from here. But we'll see what happens in the next couple of minutes or so. Yeah, see, Barty said looking bullish on lower time frames. Yeah, it's trying to, Barty. So I'm looking at this over here. It's attempting to make a shift back to the upside, right? So the 5-minute here and the 10-minute is still bearish because price is below the pivots. We have a nice rejection off the top side right here. So it's it's still very bearish across the 5 and 10. The 1 minute is bullish though. So they're attempting to make it their way to the upside, but I don't know if it'll hold. All right, we have a pending sell signal right here on the 1 minute time frame. We have the higher high. If this candle right here breaks and closes past pivots 1 and 2, I don't know if this will happen because this is pretty far of a push. But we'll see what happens here. Price is pushing down. Let's see if this ends up closing below the pivots 1 and 2. If that's the case, then there might be a entry here for a sell. And price might push back down to opening price right here. So yeah, Allison said, same pattern I see nearly every day. Yeah, it's the same thing, pretty much. So, all right, if this candle here closes below, guys, possible entry for a sell. You got 18 seconds left on the candle, though. As you can see, it's rejecting off the 5 and 10 pretty nicely off the top pivot, or the top wick off the pivot. So this might be a confirmation of a sell here. You got to wait for the candle to actually close, though, guys, with the sell signal. So make sure you wait for it to actually close. And it does not close. So there's no entry there yet. So that candle there did not close. We're waiting for this one here to possibly close below. If it doesn't, then no entry. If it does, then great. But again, you guys have to wait for it to actually close. So make sure that you're patient with it. It aligns with the other time frames. So if you look over here on the 5 and 10, we have that nice rejection here off the 5 and 10. So this may be a possible, continuation to the downside. We just got to wait for the actual momentum signal here to close to provide that confirmation. We have 20 seconds left on this candle. So it's not looking too great right now, but we'll see how it closes in a few. Yeah, 10 seconds here. Does not look like it's going to close with a valid momentum signal for a sell. We got 3 seconds left, and there's no entry there. Another pending signal here, but at this point, I don't think I'm going to be looking for entry, guys, because you can see how this green candle here is slightly closed below the pivot. It just makes it a bit of an iffy requirement because all the criteria here is slightly met, but it's not completely met because you can see how the pivot is cutting into the green candle right here. So I wouldn't consider this a clean entry. If it does come up, I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm not going to be taking it. Also, we have a high low down here. So with that said, we don't have, it's going to disregard this criteria right here because there can't be any high lows in between. So in order for this to be a valid entry, the sell signal will need to close down below here. And this is a pretty far drop before it can invalidate or pretty much push back this low right here. So yeah, unfortunately, no entry there, guys. That was what we were waiting for, but it didn't come up. So nothing for us here. Let's see. Kevin said there was a big drop during pre-market. There was no news or anything. It just dropped. So I think it's going to push up to correct that drop. Looking for buys, but that's just me based on my analysis. Yeah, no, same here, Kevin. That's kind of what I was looking for over here too on these other time frames because the 4 hour here is rejecting off the pivot. So if the 4 hour here confirms that, you know, it's going to make that bounce back to the upside, odds are everything else is going to follow, right? So we're getting a nice rejection off the pivot right here. This pivot 3. So this here can push up. But yeah, I mean, for us, we're not really looking for anything specific. We're kind of just waiting for the market to give us some entries here. So, I mean, your analysis is fine too, Kevin. I can see it pushing to the upside. But yeah, you just got to read the market and see what it gives you as price continues to move along. There's no need to get stuck in one direction just yet. All right, we have another pending sell signal right there on the 1 minute. But no entry for us here anymore, guys, because we have a high low in between. So there's not going to be any entry for us to look for a sell. So since we have some time in between, guys, I'm going to step away for a few moments. I'll be right back. So just give me a few moments. Let me get some water real quick. All right, guys, I'm back. Nothing's happened since I left. I figured it's pretty much gonna go sideways. Yeah, we don't have a higher high or a lower low right now, so there's nothing for us to really take at the moment. We have news coming up right here at 7, so hopefully this pushes price, in one direction or the other. But at the moment, we just don't have anything to take. We still have a pending sell signal, so we can possibly still be looking for a sell. There just isn't anything for us to take right now, so it's a lower high right there, so it's not a higher high, no room for entry. But we are still technically looking for a sell. In order for us to have that, we need to establish a new higher high here. So let's just look at these, pretty much all the time frames right here. Yeah, Maddie said it's in an iffy area, sticking to the sessions. A couple of things that I would look out for here is I'd look for rejections off the pivots, because that's going to be your main hint as to what direction price will likely be going. The problem with this here is that there's rejections on both sides. So if you look over here on the 1 minute, there's a rejection on the bottom. That's going to indicate price is likely to keep going up. Looking over here on the 10, there's also rejection on the bottom. But it could easily change. Looking over here on the 5, there's rejections on the top. So as you guys can see on the lower time frames here, there's just rejections on both sides. So like if you have something where it aligns where there's a top rejection on pretty much multiple time frames and they're all going the same direction, odds of it going further that way is very likely. However, right now it's just not looking like that. The 4-hour over here looks like it's going to close in the next 2 minutes. If this closes with a rejection off the bottom, then this might be the initial push back up. So if this here closes in the next minute or so, we'll get a rejection off the bottom here. We'll get a rejection off the bottom here on the 10 minute. We'll also get a rejection on the 5. So I think there might be initiation for a pushback to the upside. So I actually want the sell signal here to close invalid. So when price pushes back up, we can look for an entry to the upside. So we got a nice bottom rejection here on the 4-hour, nice bottom rejection on the 10, bottom rejection here on the 5, bottom rejection here on the 1. So we do have the lower low right here. That sell signal did close invalid. So now I'm looking for a buy signal here to close right back above. So we have a lower low right here. We're looking for a buy signal to break and close above the pivots right here. If we get that, then we might have a possible entry for a buy. It's kind of what we're looking for here. We do have news coming up right here at 7, so we want to be a little careful, but I think it's low impact news, so it should probably not affect the market too much. But that's basically what we're looking for. So we got the lower low right here, looking for price to break and close past the pivots with a buy signal. If we get that, then possible entry right there. Nice. Kevin said he took a spec with a buy. Solid. So it looks like that probably played out for you right there. All right. So price broke and closed past the pivots over here, guys. There's no entry. So again, we just got to wait for another opportunity to come up here. We have news right here off this candle. It's right at the sessions. So I'll mark that up right there. It's news and the sessions. Clean this up. Let's see. Bezzy said there's no sound. Is there sound, guys? I'm pretty sure the sound's working. Not sure if you guys can hear me or not, but I'm pretty sure it's working. All right. So there's no buys here, guys. Price already broke and closed past the pivots, unfortunately. All right. Thanks, CJ. Yeah, Bezzy. Sound looks like everyone can hear me. It might just be your end, so you might have to turn up your volume. Or maybe refresh the YouTube. But it seems like the volume is working for everybody. All right, no entries here yet. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin also confirmed that he can hear me. You might just have to refresh your YouTube, Bezzy, or maybe make sure that your volume's up. All right, there's no entries for us right now, guys. We have a pending buy signal here, but it's not going to matter because price already broke and closed past the pivot. So we have lower low here. Price broke and closed past the pivots. No buy signal, so unfortunately, no entry for us there. Oh, you're good, Bezzy. All right, no problem. Got that all fixed up. All right, so looking back over here, guys, as I mentioned, so I mentioned here the 4-hour is basically the leading confirmation, right? So price right here rejected off the pivot. We had the rejection here off the 5, 10, and 1. So odds of it pushing up higher were very likely. Unfortunately, we didn't have the entry there because the buy signal never came up. But you can see how these confluences pretty much align with each other, right? You have the buy signal, we have the rejection here, rejection here, rejection here, rejection here. And if we had that buy signal, it looks like price would have pushed up pretty nicely. Price is pushing it pretty heavy right now. I wouldn't recommend entering right now. It's kind of too late at this point. You know, price is a bit overextended. So price might be coming back down, you know, to some extent. So here's a markup for the clean charts. You know, pretty much played out perfect right there. Still pushing up higher. It's up pretty bullish right now. We'll see where this ends up continuing to push from. But yeah, the analysis from here played out perfect. Unfortunately, we didn't get that buy signal where we needed it. If we got that buy signal right here, we could have taken this for a buy. It would have been a nice full TP. But it's all good. Kevin said he's in deep profit right now. So nice work, Kevin. Yeah, he took that speculative buy earlier, pretty much, you know, based off the analysis that I mentioned. We had a nice rejection off the other time frame. So we could have assumed that price was going to push up like that. So that's why I keep all these time frames still open, guys. I don't typically use these to identify entries, but I use it for confluences. So we had the buy signal here on the 4. Not buy signal. We had a rejection here off the 4, rejection off the 10, 5, and 1. So, you know, you have like 4 confluences here indicating that price is going to push up. Odds of it pushing up are very likely, and it played out perfectly. So yeah, nice work, Kevin. Anyways, we're still waiting for an entry here at 7:03 right now, guys. I mean, market's doing pretty much what we expected it to do. You know, we're coming back from a long weekend. It's Monday. Markets are still technically closed for Europe. Also, it's a heavy news week, so we'll see how this ends up playing out. But we did expect a bullish push here. The main reason for the bullish push was because of the sentiment, right? So we looked at sentiment over here. It indicated that 61% of retail traders were currently selling. So typically the market does the opposite and it pushes up higher. So that's kind of what we expected to happen. And then it eventually did play out. You can see over here, our price kind of bounced off this triple bottom that I marked up pre-market, or not pre-market, but you know, it set up pre-market and it came up right here on open. Awesome. All right, so we're pretty much just waiting for it to come back down. We have the higher high right here, looking for this to, you know, obviously break and close below the pivots right here for a possible entry. But we just don't have that yet, so it's got to continue waiting. We have Maria over here. So Maria took a buy over here earlier, basically based off the analysis. She took the buy right here at 634. Total profit of 597 for the day. Nice work, Maria. So solid work right there. We have Anelli over here, some more profits on his end. This account, total profit of 1,470. All wins right there. And Anelli's other account over here, total profit of 4,410. Looks like he took those entries as price pushed up higher. So nice work right there, Nelly. There's no official entry, so it's all good. If you guys haven't taken anything yet, let's see what Kenny said. Kenny said, yeah, I was looking at the email from FTMO wrong. Next time I'm going to make sure I'm fully awake before I read the next email. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, because it just wouldn't make sense for them to give you a retry on a demo account or a trial account, Kenny. It's all good though. Let's see. All right, some profits over here from CSoup. So let's see, CSoup locked in a total profit of 3,850 for the day. All wins on this account. Here is CSoup's other account, total profit of 4,000 for the day. All wins as well. And lastly, on CSoup's third account, total profit of 3,800 as well. So nice work, CSoup, right there. I still don't understand how CSoup's able to do this, but you can see on his side, he has all these green strips because he doesn't use a copier. He trades them all separately. So nice work, CSoup. All the green strips right there. That blows my mind. I can't do that. It's too much work for me. I'd rather just risk it on a copier, but solid work, CSoup. Yeah, so a lot of you guys here took buys off that analysis that I just mentioned. So I mentioned the rejection here off the 1, 5, 10, and 4 hour. And then price pushed up higher. It looks like a lot of you guys took the buys right there. C63 buys right here, total profit of 3,000, 4,000, and 3,000 here. So great work, guys. All right, we have a higher high right here. if price breaks and close below the pivots here with the sell signal, possible entry for the sell. We don't have that yet, but it could possibly be setting up sometime soon. Yeah, nothing for us here yet. We do have the higher high and a pending sell signal. But price needs to break and close below the pivots. If it doesn't break and close below the pivots, then obviously no entry there. So waiting for price to break and close past the structure with the sell signal. Price is pushing back up. It might just establish a new higher high. If it continues to push up from where it's currently at, looks like it's going to just a little farther push, and it'll establish a new HH right there, which is a higher high. A little higher. It's got 15 seconds left right here. So we'll see where this ends up going. No. It's no higher high right there. Yeah, Barty says you seek prints money each day. Yeah, definitely does. Nice. Kevin said he took a buy again when that red candle dropped. So he just caught that swing back to the upside right there. Nice work, Kevin. So as I mentioned, if price was going to push past it, it was just going to establish a new higher high, which is what it did. So we have another higher high right here. Still waiting for it to swing back down. So we're looking for this to establish the top, come back down, and provide us opportunity for entry right there, which we don't have yet. Yeah, Glenn said, man, I wish I took that trade to the upside. Yeah, I mean, if you guys listen to my analysis typically plays out properly. I'm just not taking speculative trades because I don't want to confuse people. Like, yes, last week I took a speculative trade and people are asking, hey, can I call speculative trades? I mean, it's not the strategy. So I don't like taking speculative trades. Like, my analysis does play out, but I don't like calling speculative trades because then a lot of people just start to gamble because they just take every type of possible entry that comes up. So if you guys do want to take these speculative trades, just listen to my analysis. I'll let you guys know, but they're not going to count as official trades because it's the whole point of them being speculative, right? We're not sure if they're going to play out. And I typically don't take speculative trades. I just take them when it like lines up with the opportunity, but it doesn't actually close out. So just keep that in mind, guys. All right, so still no official entries for us here yet. Still waiting for this to come back down. I mean, it's going to come down eventually. It's way too overextended where it's currently at. So it's going to have to push out at some point. Let's see. Barty said, I think US30 pushed the upside today because sessions 1, 5, and 10 are bullish. Just because they're bullish, I don't think that's going to be necessarily like main reason for it to push up, Barty, because the thing is price can get overextended, which it's currently overextended right now. Price is pushed up like a lot, so it's due to come back down. So I wouldn't necessarily just look for buys. I mean, you can look for buys, but I wouldn't necessarily just look for buys at any moment because it can just come back down and retest the opening price. And if that's the case, then that's a big drop, right? It's like 1,000 pips. So unless you got like a really, really deep stop loss, odds of you getting triggered are very likely if you're scalping. So just keep that in mind, guys. Like, you should never be stuck in one position. Like, just because it looks bullish right now doesn't mean it's always going to stay bullish. It's not even that bullish. It just barely started shifting like on this last candle. You can see here on the 10-minute price was very bearish. It just pushed up on this one candle. So it's not even automatically bullish yet. The trend meter down here is like still blue, so it's neutral. So this can indicate that price can come right back down. So, whenever you guys take an entry, make sure you analyze everything first. Don't just take an entry without looking at everything because this can easily just shift on you at any moment. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin said, listen to Sean. Glenn said, yep. At least I have some sort of control of my emotions now. Yeah, no, it's key, Glenn. Just make sure that whenever you guys take an entry, you're taking it for a reason. You're not just taking trades because you think price is going to go one direction. Like, actually look at the charts. Make sure you have some confluences, some confirmations that are indicating that price is going to go that way. And then from there, you can take the entries. But just don't just take them because, right? Because that's, I think that's the worst way to trade. A lot of people make mistakes that way. because you can't just go off your gut. Like trading, a lot of it has to do with your analysis and luck, but for the most part, you can't get lucky every single time. So just make sure you're actually analyzing the charts and you're not just going off like the top of your head. All right, so price is coming down right here, but I don't really see much of confluence of price coming down just yet. If we see a rejection here on the 1 hour and 30 minute, this could be a good confirmation, because if price does push down from where it's currently at, we can get a rejection off the top wick right here off the pivot, and then same with the 1 hour over here. We don't have that yet, but it could be a possibility of it coming down. We're still looking for this to come down right here. The only problem is that it's getting closer to the sessions. As I've mentioned in the past, whenever the price is near the sessions, it gets highly manipulated. So you can see over here on the clean chart, I'll turn on the sessions. So you guys can see whenever price gets near these sessions right here, there's a lot of fake outs that occur. So like right here at this red line, this is the London low. Price pushed above, faked out, came back below, faked out again right here, and then it just corrected right back up, right? Same with where price is currently at right now here at the Asia low. So price over here came up a little bit, faked out right here, came back down, faked out below, then it came back above over here. So this could be another fake out where price ends up coming down super heavy. So just there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of things in play. So like when you guys are looking around and analyzing stuff, make sure that you do a full analysis, right? Look for any rejection points, look for any hints of price reversing on you. Any of that stuff. There's no confirmations here yet. Price is actually going sideways right now. So this isn't like the type of market that I like to trade in. I like to trade when you have a higher high and price comes down very hard, or when we have a lower low and price comes up very hard, right? I don't typically like when price kind of establishes a higher high and it just goes sideways. It's not the type of market that I like to trade in. There's also no other structures here for us to really look at. So there's not much of a resistance up here. There's just one high. All right, we have a pending sell signal right there. Just waiting for a confirmation here for that to come down. It's only 7 o'clock as well, guys. So just keep that in mind. It's still early in the session. It's not that late. It's 7:14 right now. So there can be an entry from now until 8. So you don't have to force anything. It's got to sit on your hands and wait for official entry to come up. Yeah, Maria said the sessions are magnets. Yeah, exactly. So if price doesn't end up coming down from here, it can really go either direction. So it can either push up to this session right here, which is the New York low, or it can push down to here, which is the Asia low. So, realistically, price can go either direction. There's no real confirmation as to where price will go, whether it be up, whether it be down. Maddie said anything can happen. I need to wait for the official entry. Yeah, I agree with you, Maddie, 100%. So we have a higher high right here, pending sell signal. The sell signal needs to break and close below the pivots, which it didn't. You can see that it only broke and closed below the first pivot right here. So there's no entry for the sell. As you can see over here, first requirement, identify the higher high, which we had right there. Second, identify a valid momentum signal. We had a momentum signal right here. And third, you want to confirm that price breaks and close past pivots 1 and 2 or pivot just 2. Which we didn't get that there. It only broke past pivot 1. So with that said, there's no entry here for a sell. So we're going to take this away and we're moving on to a possible buy. So what I need to happen here now is I need price to come down a bit slightly, establish a lower low somewhere down here and bounce right back up. That's where I'm looking to take the possible buy. But at the moment, we just don't have it right now. So again, it's just a matter of patience. Another waiting game right here. First to have some sort of entry. So let's take a look at all the time frames again. So I don't really see too much going on here. There's no rejections, there's no confirmations, there's not really much going on here. We have a possible buy signal here, but there's no lower low, so there's no entry for us to take at the moment. Yeah, at this moment, we're kind of just waiting. There's a momentum scalp failure right here. If you guys are still following the older strategies that we were applying like a couple months ago, there's a momentum scalp failure right here that came up. Not sure if anyone took that trade. Yeah, so that would have hit TP. There's a momentum scalp failure right there. And then this right here is a momentum scalp variation. if you guys remember that strategy. So it's still technically running. We're not in that position. I just wanted to show you guys that it's still running right there. So all the strategies still work perfectly fine. Right here, there's a momentum scalp entry, momentum scalp failure, and momentum scalp variation. So if you guys remember the older strategies that we applied like late last year up until early this year, the strategies still work perfectly fine. So if you guys still want to apply those strategies, they still work. There's a momentum scalp failure right here, momentum scalp variation, and momentum scalp. If you took any of those entries, they're all full TPs, full TP, full TP, full TP. So again, if you guys are new here and you guys want to learn those strategies are available to all of you guys completely free. If you guys go on the website, kodikaitrades.com. So this is the website, kodikaitrades.com. If you click on unlock your free access right here, it'll give you access to the course. So the course looks like this, and those strategies that I just mentioned are right here under main strategies. You go to module 4, main strategies. This is the one that we're applying here on the live, the high level momentum scalp. And this is the momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, and momentum scalp. There's a lot of entries here that you guys can take. It's just we're focused on this one mainly because this is probably the easiest one out of all the strategies. And there's a lot of strategies for you guys to learn. There's about like 30 strategies that I've shared with you guys over the years, and they're all located here on the free course. So yeah, if you guys want to learn it, feel free. It's all available to you guys on the website. So no entry for us here, guys, but it looks like we might be setting up for a possible lower low. So this is kind of what we're looking for, guys. We have a high low right here. This isn't what we're looking for yet, but we're looking for a lower low. So price swings back a little bit lower and establishes a lower low like this right here. It can be a setup for price to swing right back to the upside. We don't have that lower low yet, so it's completely fine. Just gotta wait for this to drop down a little lower. Let's see, visual trader is asking, I don't understand why is there a pivot 1 if entries based on pivot 2. So in order to enter based off pivot 2, price should pass pivot 1. Anyway, it's just more line on the chart. I'm missing, or am I missing something? So if you read it out loud, it'll make sense, visual trader. Confirm price breaking close past pivots 1 and 2, or just pivot 2. So it can break past both of them or just pivot 2, right? It doesn't make anything more complicated than it really is. But you need to have pivots 1 in there too, because price can break past pivot 1, but it won't break past pivot 2. Does that make sense? I don't know, like some people get confused about that, but it doesn't really make a difference. It's like breaking past pivots 1 and 2 or 2. So it's there for a reason, because price can break past pivot 1, but it doesn't need to break past pivot 2. But if that's the case, there's no entry. But if it breaks past both of them, then there's an entry. If that makes sense, visual trader. You don't have the indicator, so I wouldn't expect you to really understand how this works. But if you're applying it yourself and you would test it and you would actually back test and see how things work, it would make sense to you. But if you're just watching on the YouTube and trying to figure out what I'm doing here, it's not going to make sense because you're not actually doing it, right? You're just watching me do it. So, my recommendation is to get the indicators and do it yourself so that it'll make sense to you. But if the requirement doesn't make sense to you, it's just hard for me to like explain because you don't have the actual indicators to test it out yourself. But they're based off passing pivots 1 and 2 or just pivot 2. Yeah, I mean, that's the explanation for it. Like there's a whole reason behind like why that's the criteria. We can just put pivot 2 here, but it's not going to make sense because you're not going to see pivot 1 or 2 because price needs to pass like both of them. That's going to indicate that price is shifting in momentum, right? So momentum shifts down here when it breaks past both of them. If you just have one line there, it's not going to make sense because price can easily go back and forth. Like, for example, if I was to take off all the pivots right here, right? Because you're saying that pivot 1 doesn't really make sense. You have one line here. How do you know when price is shifting, right? This could be a shift if price breaks past it. If you have pivots 1 and 2 up there, it makes a difference because you can see how momentum starts to shift. So like, for example, here, price pushes above, but the pivots here aren't really swinging above that direction. So you're still looking for price to come back down. So, yeah, I mean, if you had the indicators, it would make sense, but you don't. So it's not going to make sense unless like you actually practice it yourself. Anyways, back to the possible entry here, guys. There's still nothing for us here because there's no lower low. There is a higher low right here, but there's no lower. There's no lower low, so there's no entry for us. In order for us to take the buy, we need to identify either a higher high or a lower low. It can be a high low or a lower high. either an HH or LL. That's what we're looking for. I know, Maddie. Exactly. Yeah, no, 100%. All right, so we still don't have any entries here, guys. Still a higher low. So we're looking for this basically to establish a lower low, which we don't have yet. So we're looking for the LL and we're looking for that HH. Yeah, but there's still nothing for us to take right now. Let's see, C-Suk said he's shutting down his MT4 first Monday after, and it's considered banking holiday and all set. Yeah, no, definitely. C-Suk. That's probably the best decision for you to close out your MT4. You can still watch for analysis here, but yeah, if you made your profit for the day, you're good. Yeah, Maddie said he's done trading for the day as well. I'm still looking for my entry, so I'm looking for this one entry to come up. Hopefully it'll come up soon. If not, then we'll just have to roll with it. We got 30 minutes left till 8, guys. It's 7:23 right now, so we still have an opportunity. We still have enough time for an opportunity to come up, but we just don't have anything here yet. Price is still pushing down right here. Let's look at all the time frames again. So, okay, price looks like it might be coming down further. So looking at this here on the 4-hour, you can see it, as I mentioned before, you can identify these rejections off the pivots. So there's a top rejection here off the 4-hour. There is a very strong top rejection here off the 1-hour. And a same very strong rejection here off the 30-minute. So with that said, this here will indicate whether price is going to continue dropping, which I think it probably will. But again, you guys got to keep in mind that these candles here still have a lot of time left on them. This 30-minute has about 6 minutes, which is not too long. This 1-hour has 36 minutes left on it. And this 4-hour still has 3 hours left on it. So it's not going to really confirm until the 4-hour here confirms it. So this is going to be the main one to look out for, the 4-hour time frame, which has 3 minutes and 3 hours and 30 minutes left on it. So we probably won't get that confirmation anytime soon just yet. But, obviously, eventually at some point, it'll probably confirm. But what we need here now is we need price to swing back up for retracement and then come back down. So price is currently here right now. We want price to kind of push up a little bit and then come back down if we're looking for sells, because we would need price to break and close past the pivots. Same with this over here. We need a lower low. So I don't think this will swing back up until we have a lower low. Currently have a high low right here. But yeah, it's going to have to establish a bit before it creates a new lower low. Barty's asking 1-hour pivot rejection. Yeah, pivot rejection's right there, Barty. It's rejecting off the top pivot, top wick, very strong wick rejection. So basically a top rejection across all the time frames, all the higher time frames. So the 4-hour, 1-hour, and 30-minute time frames, very strong rejection off the top. This doesn't necessarily mean price is going to continue dropping very hard though, because these are the higher time frames. So if you're looking at this here, this will indicate that price will probably drop like long term, not like right now, but long term it'll drop. The shorter time frames over here can still push price up because we don't have that here on the shorter time frames. Question from Visual Trader. Can I ask what copier to use? I use Social Trader tools. I've been using them for like 2 years now. They're pretty solid for the most part. The only downside is you have to pay for it, but obviously you're gonna have to pay for a service like that. So it's not too bad. The Johnson market's moving how I expected it to. I'll see you all tomorrow for real this time. All right, John, we'll see you back here on Tuesday. C6 City's just watching. I mean, I'm still looking for an entry if we could find one here. We just don't have one yet. Yeah, I just gotta wait for this here. I think this is the worst part about trading, just waiting, because this is where you start to get impatient. It's where you start to get impatient and start to make mistakes. So just make sure you guys are waiting for a confirmation, right? Or not really confirmation, but look for the requirements here. So there's not really much for us. There's not really much for us to do here or look at until we have a lower low. So I mean, realistically, we're just waiting for this lower low to come up. Price will need to come down below this point to provide the lower low. Once we have that, we can start looking for, you know, possible swing to the upside. But at the moment, it's not really looking like any of that's happening right now. So we had the top up here pretty much established. Right there, pretty much rejected, retested, rejected, came back down. And then target price point right here is probably going to be opening price if it continues to drop down lower. Or the sessions actually. So there's a London low right here. If price continues to drop, this is probably going to be the target price point, the London low. Yeah, see, Kevin said, I think that drop was profit taking and it's going to continue to retrace and continue. It's going to retrace and continue up. We'll see. Not in any trades right now, just watching and waiting. Yeah, same, Kevin. Yeah, if it continues to drop down, there's two target price points here where price will likely drop to. Either the sessions right here or opening price. Two different price points. Bounce from there. Bounce from there. We just need to find that lower low. So if price comes down to this point, Kevin, this is probably what I'm looking for. Price comes down to this point and it establishes a lower low like this right here. So you can see how it bounced directly off the opening price, right? Price came down below, it rejected off the structure, it had a lower low. This was the bottom. So it established the bottom right there and it shot up all the way up. I'm looking for the same thing here. I'm looking for price to come down, provide a lower low, and then have it bounce all the way back up. But we just don't have that yet. Let's see, Sam says, looks like the momentum scalp variation stop loss hit stop loss, wouldn't have taken that one. It was overextended. Yeah, this one over here, right? Sam? Yeah, I wouldn't have taken it because it's way overextended, like right there. See how far did it push up? Yeah, it came down super hard. Yeah, because price pushed up from this point right here, all the way up here. And, you know, it's due for retracement at that point. It pushed up like 1,000 pips. So if you guys remembered from our analysis back then, looking at these momentum scalp failures, momentum scalp variations, momentum scalps, typically it's overextended when price is pushed above, you know, at least 1,000 pips without a real retracement. So I agree with your analysis too, Sam. I wouldn't have taken that trade. All right, so price is pushing up right here, but unfortunately, it's not going to be an entry for us to take because there's no lower low here. So we needed to get a lower low and a buy signal. Unfortunately, there's no lower low here. It's just a high low. So there's no entry for us there. Looks like price might just be ranging between these two sessions. So if price ends up pushing above here, it might just come up a little bit. And then obviously come right back down. We got the higher sessions right here and the lower sessions right here. All right, so price pushed above right here. There wouldn't have been an entry here to begin with, because even if we had a lower low right there, price and breaking close past the pivots. So we need price to push up a bit higher, establish a higher high, and then from there we can look for possible entries in between. So we got a lower high right here, 731 right now. See, Kevin said he caught a quick 10 pips on that speculative buy, quick move in and out as it bounced off the moving average on his chart. Nice. Yeah, so Kevin's using a different moving average from us. I'm assuming probably one of the higher ones. I'm assuming you're probably using like a 50, right? Kevin, either 50, 100, 200. So it looks like he bounced off his moving average. And then he caught that on the swing back to the upside. Yeah, nothing for us to take right now still. So we're still waiting for that higher high to come up. Gotcha. Yeah. So Kevin uses the 20, 50, and 200. Yeah, I still use those two. Those are good number. Those are good points for regular moving averages. That's like what I started with. I used to start with either 20, 25, 50, 100, 200 around there, just depending on the time frame. But yeah, those whole numbers are pretty solid. All right, so there's nothing going on right here. As you guys can see, the volume pretty much died down a lot. Let me check the volume bar real quick. Yeah, as you guys can see over here, the market was pretty volatile on open right here, and it's starting to go down in a downward slope. So the volume right here is starting to die down very heavily, which is fine. I mean, typically this is what happens, once you get towards the middle of the session. We'll see if it picks back up. So we got price pushing up right here. I'm looking for a higher high right now, guys. I'm looking for price to establish a higher high, maybe come back up and reject off the sessions over here with a higher high. I think that'd be the best case scenario. And once we have that, we can probably catch price swing back down. Yeah, we don't have it yet, but it's kind of what we're looking for. Gotcha. Yeah. Kevin uses exponential. Yeah, I don't like using simple, Kevin. Exponential is better because it moves faster with price, especially if you're trading on the shorter time frames. The regular moving average, a simple moving average is like typically laggy. So I think the simple is good for identifying trend, but exponential is better for identifying entries because it's a lot faster. It moves with price. Right, we don't have a higher high yet. We still have a lower high right here. I thought I updated this. There you go. Oh, I did update it. Yeah, so as you guys can see, there's no lower lows or higher highs that have come up yet. Currently only have a lower high right there. So I'm fine if price pushes up higher. Actually, I want this here to establish. So if it establishes, when it pushes up higher, it'll provide a higher high instead of a lower low or a lower high. All right, so I kind of want price to kind of push around a little bit, then push up a little higher. Maybe after like 4 or 5 candles, because if we get that, then we'll have this established. And then when price ends up pushing, so like for example, it's pushing down right here. So we have price push up, push down, push back up. If we get this setup right here where this plays out, then it'll establish a higher high. But if this doesn't get established, it's just going to keep pushing the lower highs higher and higher, which is not exactly what we're looking for here. We want a higher high. So we just have to, we just got to wait for it, fortunately. Here's Vincent. Vincent took the sell earlier as price pushed down below his pivot 3. Total profit of 1,020 and 92 cents for the day. Nice work, Vincent, with that full TP right there as well. Let's see, Glenn said maybe we can get a lower low this time, then we can catch the next swing to the upside. Yeah, I mean, either one works for me, Glenn. I'm looking for either one. Whether we get a higher high or a lower low, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm not really stuck in one position. I'm looking for an entry in either direction. So as you can see over here, the lower time frames are no longer confirming that rejection, right? The 30-minute over here, price is back above. So I think the main catalyst here would be the 4-hour. So like once this here closes, you can look on the lower time frame. So like basically you want to base all the rejections off the higher time frames here. So the higher time frame here still hasn't confirmed the rejection, and it may continue up because the last candle over here rejected off the bottom, right? So we had a nice rejection off the bottom right there. And I think what's looked for in these other time frames would be the rejections off the bottom as well. So you can see over here, we had the rejection off the 4 hour. We also had the rejection off the 10-minute. You can see it rejected off that point. If you took an entry from there, price would have pushed up like 50 pips or 500 pips right there. So you should always do everything from a top-down analysis, like when you guys are looking for something here. So this right here, we currently have a lower rejection off the 4 hour. So with that said, I think price will continue to possibly push up higher, but that's where you'll tie this in with the lower time frames. So, obviously you're looking at this here, you're looking at this here, both bottom wick rejections. I would have classified this as a 500 pip move because this is on the 10-minute time frame. If you're on the lower time frames, obviously you look for a lower rejection, but that's kind of how you guys can look at this from. It's just a top-down analysis, rejection off the 4, 1, 30, etc., lower time frames. And then you just base your target off these time frames. Obviously, the lower the time frames, the smaller the TP. And same with the higher time frames. All right, Van Harwick, we'll see you back here tomorrow. And unfortunately, no entries here yet. We just don't have anything here established. We're still looking for that lower low or that higher high. Price broke and closed past the sessions over here. So this is one thing to look out for here, guys. Whenever price breaks past the sessions like this, you need to look for whether this is going to be a fake out or whether it's going to be a continuation to the upside, right? So that's one thing to look out for here. Now you just got to see what the market gives you. It's going to give you a hint whether price is going to push up higher or whether it's going to come right back down below. Because that's typically what happens when price gets near these sessions. You can see over here, price broke and closed above it right here. It confirmed the fake out, came back below, fake out again below here, and then came right back up before faking out a third time and coming down super heavy. So I personally don't like trading around these areas, these sessions, but these sessions will give you a hint as to like what's going to happen next. So you can see how price is coming down right here. This might be another fake out. Price faked out up here and fake out again down here, and then it'll price swing right back up. So what I kind of want to see here, if this happens, if this becomes a fake out, I actually want price to come down a little lower, establish a lower low, and then swing all the way back up so that we can take that buy, right? Because I prefer the fake out to happen below here rather than above here. But I mean, we'll see. This whole area is not a good area to trade in until you have that better confirmation. Because you can see here, it faked out about 3 times before it actually chose its direction to the downside. 1, 2, 3, drop down right here, correction back up. Man, this market sucks. It's a Monday though, so I'm not too surprised that the market was going to move like this. For one, it's a Monday, and for two, it's coming back from a holiday weekend, like a long weekend. And technically, the European markets are closed right now. So you don't have European traders in the market really pushing price around. People are still on that long weekend vacation. Let me check the rest of the week to see if there's anything else here for us to look at. So tomorrow we have NFIB Small Business Index, IMF meetings. We have Fed members speaking pretty much all week. I think this might be Fed week. Today we have Fed member Williams speaking at 1:15. Tomorrow we have Fed member Goolsbee speaking at 10:30. Fed member Harker speaking at 3. Fed member Kashkari speaking at 4:30. Wednesday we have CPI, core CPI, yearly and monthly. So we have inflation news coming out right here on the 12th. Yeah, this is Fed week. So on Wednesday, we have Fed, FOMC meeting minutes. Thursday, we have core PPI. So this week is inflation week and Fed week. So they're basically going to be releasing a lot of inflation news and Fed news this week. So a lot of stuff about the inflation, a lot of stuff about the recession, you know, what their plans are to combat recession, but yeah, it's Fed week. So we're probably not going to see too much movement today. I think the market will pick up tomorrow because today's still technically a holiday. And then I think tomorrow we'll start to get a lot of more movement because we have some actual, well, not really. Tomorrow we have news, but it's not really during our session. We have news after. I think the market's going to pick up on Wednesday. So market might be a little slow on Tuesday, but on Wednesday, it's going to be a lot heavier. We have inflation news pre-market at 5:30. We have the Fed speaking. We have the G20 meetings. We have the Fed meeting minutes. Yeah, a lot of stuff on Wednesday. So we might have like a little bit of a choppy or slow week up until Wednesday. And Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is going to be a bit crazy with all the news. Still no entries for us here, guys. It looks like the market is pretty much flat. There's not too much going on. Let's see, Maria just headed out. All right, Maria, we'll see you back here tomorrow. There's no higher highs, no lower lows. Not really much for us to do here. All right. Man, it looks like the candle's pretty much died down. If you guys look at this current candle right here, there's like no body. So the volume here pretty much died down a lot. There's not really much going on. If you measure the candles right here, these candles are moving less than 100 pips. Like 50 to 70 pips right there, which is like basically nothing. All right. So okay. So this is a good thing right here. We currently have this lower low or lower high right here. If price breaks and close past this area here, it's going to establish a higher high. So this is going to be the start of possible entry for us. Now that price is starting to squeeze down a little bit, I do want that buy signal to close. Once that buy signal closes, price will push up and possibly establish a higher high. So I basically need price to push above here. So a little higher, so this can be established as a higher high. So we got two lower highs right here. If this candle pushes past it, we'll get a higher high at that point, and then from there we can look for the swing back to the downside. Man, it's just a lot of patience here that's required for this, because I know there's a lot of possible entries here that you guys are possibly looking like, man, and this candle right here just dropped down super heavy. Now we're starting to get a lot of like crazy volatility here. We have a lower low here, but it wouldn't matter because we need a buy signal, which we already took right here. So we're not going to have any entry for a buy yet until we get like another sell signal. But as you guys can see, the market is moving kind of crazy. It gets really slow right here, shoots up a little bit, then it spikes right back down. Pretty typical for a long weekend return. All right, so we got a sell signal right here. I mean, this is fine. If we get the sell signal right here, then I need price to push down a little lower, provide us another lower low. So if this pushes down lower, there's going to be another lower low. So this is going to get pushed down lower if this pushes down any further. But I do need this sell signal. So I actually want the sell signal here to close, whether it be valid or invalid. I need a sell signal there to close. That's going to be step one, because we can't look for any buys here until we get a sell signal. Because that's a question I get a lot too, guys. People are always asking, why are we looking for that? Because there's only opposite sell signals or opposite momentum signals. So first we'll get a sell momentum, then we'll get a buy momentum, then we'll get a sell momentum, then a buy momentum, right? So in order for us to get another buy signal, we need a sell signal in between. So I want a sell signal here to close, and I want this to push down a little lower so that this lower low gets established a little further from where it's currently at. And then from there, when it swings back up, we can take that buy to the upside, right? Okay, perfect. This is exactly what we were looking for. So we have this lower low right here, but I need that sell signal to close. And once we get that sell signal that closes right here, then we can look for a buy right after. But we need to get that actual sell signal to close. So we got about 30 seconds left on this candle here. The market's starting to pick up. So with volatility picking up like this, we got to pay attention to how market's moving. Let's take a look at the higher time frames over here. Just want to look to see if there's any rejections on any of these time frames. So looking over here on the 4 hour, we currently have a possible top rejection, but it hasn't really closed yet. So, I mean, at this specific moment, there's nothing for us to take from this. The other thing to look out for here would be this top rejection off the 1 hour and 30 minute. So we get this top wick rejection right here. This is going to be the confluence that we're looking for. Because if this is the case and this here closes in the next, let's say like 10 minutes or so, then this could be a possible confirmation of price to likely drop further from where it's currently at. So we'll keep an eye out on that. We currently have a lower low right here. So if we get price to break and close past the pivots over here with a buy signal, there can be a possible entry for a buy. We have a lower low right there. Let's see. I don't really see a confluence over here, but these candles still haven't closed. A confluence over here that we could look at would be this 10 minutes. So we have a bottom wick projection right here, possibly, and then possibly one right here on the 5. Right. So this could be a confluence of price pushing up from where it's currently at. So we need that buy signal. If we get that buy signal anywhere over here, possible entry for a buy. But at the moment, we just don't have that yet. One of the things that we might want to be careful for is the sessions, because sessions are right here. Not necessarily anything that I'm too worried about, because we can still catch that push to the upside. But that's just something to maybe keep an eye out for. All right, the direction right here is not very clean. You can see there's a possible bottom wick projection here on the 5 and 10. This candle here is going to close in the next 20 seconds, so it does not look like we're going to have that bottom wick rejection. We have 15 seconds left on this candle right here, unless it spikes up at the last second, which could be the case. No, it doesn't look like we have a buy signal here at all. All right, so no entry for us there. No wick rejection here off the 5, no wick rejection here off the 10. I mean, it looks like price might be coming down. Another lower low right here. Looking over here on the higher time frames, here on the 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour, we have the top wick rejection. So if these here close, then my assumption is that price is probably going to keep dropping a little further, because this here is going to close in the next 9 minutes. We still have a lot of time though, so it hasn't confirmed yet. But yeah, if it does close, we're probably going to have price push down a bit lower from where it's currently at. Looking at this over here, next target price point is going to be the sessions right there, London low. All right. All right, so we're getting a bottom wick rejection over here on the 5 and 10 again. So price might be shifting back up, but I mean, we don't have a a clue yet exactly how that's going to play out. So we do have the lower low right here. There's a double body rejection right there. So this could be a V1 variation. This is a reversal pattern. If you guys are familiar with the V1 variation, this could be the reversal pattern for price to swing right back up. So we have a lower low right here. Price is established a V1 variation double body. If we get that buy signal that breaks and close past the pivots over here, possible entry for us to take. But at the moment, we just don't have that yet. All right. Let's go back over here. So again, we don't have that bottom wick projection right here on the 5, or there's one that's on the 10, but it's very small. Small rejection right there. Possible one right here. All right. So I kind of don't like how these, if you guys look at these candles here, the bodies are on the same exact price point. Okay, never mind, establish a new lower low here. But I didn't like how like these bodies would come exactly to that point and then bounce off. It's a little different when it's wicks, but when it's the body, it's kind of weird for it to play out like that. We have another lower low right here, guys. So another possible entry if price ends up closing. So if we have this lower low right here, we can still wait for this to push to the upside. 16 seconds left on this candle. The only thing that's kind of worrying me here is the higher time frames. If you guys look over here on the higher time frames, we have a very strong top wick rejection. This candle is going to close in about like 6 minutes. So we got to make sure that we have this opportunity and entry come up before the 6 minutes, because if we don't, then this here could be a hint that price is probably going to drop down even further from where it's currently at. So we'll see what the market gives us, but it keeps establishing new lower lows. So it's not necessarily moving the direction that we needed to. 7:54 right now, about 6 minutes till 8. Yeah, there's a lot of conflicting views here. If anything, I think price might just be continuing to drop lower from this point if there's some sort of confirmation. So like, for example, if these here close, then, we could probably get a push down lower, but let's see if we get this here. We just got to make sure it doesn't happen before, like it has to happen before 8, because if it happens after 8, this is when these candles here are going to close. This has 5 minutes left on it. This has 5 minutes left on it. If this becomes a case where these here close like that, then it's probably going to push price lower. However, we have a current pending buy signal right here. We have a lower low. If this candle breaks and closes past the pivots over here, then there'll be a possible entry for a buy. So we need this candle here to push up a bit higher and a bit stronger. Currently has 40 seconds left on the candle. If this here doesn't close, then I'll probably wrap it up for the day, guys, because I don't think there's going to be any entries from now until then. I'm hoping there's going to be an entry here, but if not, I'll wait a little longer. But if we get a buy signal and it doesn't close above, then there's just not going to be any entry for us here. So if this here doesn't close, it's fine. I'm going to wait for the next one. We have 15 seconds left on this candle right here. It's not really moving at all. So I don't know if this is going to close how we need it to. We have about 10 seconds left. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. No entry off that candle. Another possible entry off the next candle right here. So another pending signal. There we go with price pushing above it. If it closes above, then there's going to be a possible entry for a buy. We have to wait for the candle to actually close. We have 50 seconds left on this candle right here. Looking over here on the higher time frames, this looks fine because we have the bottom wick projection over here on the 5 and 10. So it could be a possible entry for us. Quick entry in and out. But we have to wait for it to close. So just keep that in mind, guys. You have to wait for the candle to actually close. If it doesn't close with the buy signal, then there's no entry there. So we got about 20 seconds left. All right, 20 seconds, 15 seconds. Again, 10 seconds, guys. You guys have to wait for the actual candle to close, guys, because if you don't wait for it to close, there's possibly not going to be an entry there. 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. No entry. Oh, man. Sucks. All right, so guys, unfortunately, there was no entry there. The candle broke and closed past it, so it does not look like we're going to have any entry here. If you guys want to keep looking, I mean, you guys can, but I don't think there's going to be entry from now in the next 3 minutes. It's about to be 8 o'clock soon. So, I mean, for me personally, I don't like how the market's moving. Christian as well, he said, I'm out, not liking how the market's moving today. Definitely, I agree with you too, Christian. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to be having our mentoring session later today at 2 p.m. So if you guys want to join that, it's completely free. You guys can ask me whatever questions you guys have there, and we can review any of the entries that come up. If you guys decide to continue trading, I'd be very careful because, as I mentioned, these candles here are going to close in the next 2 minutes. If these here close with the wick rejection off the 1 hour and the 30-minute, my guess is that price is probably going to continue dropping at least a little bit longer. We don't have any opposite confirmations here, so I'm not really looking for anything in the opposite direction. But yeah, there's no entries for you guys to take anyways, if you were looking to take anything here. Yes, Nuan, 2 p.m. Pacific. So in about 6 hours from now, I'll be back here live for the mentoring session. So yeah, guys, if you guys are new here and you guys want access to all the strategies that we're applying here and everything I pretty much just discussed, just go to the website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here to get access to the course. This is what the course looks like. You'll have access to pretty much all the strategies that I've covered and taught people for the past 7 years. So every strategy I've applied myself on the live, and every strategy I've taught to everybody here has been pretty much documented in the free course here. If you guys want to sit in and watch our YouTube later today, just click on this link right here or go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/KodiKaiTrades. Click on subscribe and turn on notifications right here. There's going to be a button. And I go live every day, Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 8, basically trading live. And then every Monday at 2 p.m. for mentoring sessions for free. So if you guys want to watch that, pretty much go over here to the YouTube channel. You guys just need to subscribe. If you guys subscribe and turn on notifications, YouTube will email you every day when I go live. They'll just email you and say, hey, Sean's live here. And you click on the button to watch the free live stream. Everything with the blue background is a live trading session. Everything with the gold background is everyone's profits for that specific day. Everything with the green background is a previous mentoring session, and everything with the red background is a strategy video. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will be back here in the next 6 hours for the mentoring session. So, all right, guys, take a quick break and I'll see you guys back here later. So see you guys then.